How many people can come up with 3,000 yuan for the new year? Don't even think about bragging. It's almost the end of the year. It's time to face reality.
Recently, this poll suddenly went viral on Chinese social media platforms. Many netizens are saying it's very unusual, and that 2026 will be the quietest Chinese New Year in Chinese history. Let's take a look at the poll results. A female vlogger responded,
"Hi, 别说话."
"How much money did you save in 2025? Let me start. I've saved minus 12,000 yuan. How about you?" Next, let's hear from a rural netizen.
能拿出3000块钱过年的。
If you can come up with 3,000 yuan for the new year, I'm telling you, you're a wealthy person. You know, many families now spend their entire monthly income on paying off debts. There's no cash left.
If you still have 3,000 yuan in cash for the new year, you can walk around the village like a boss. I'm really not joking. Here are some of the comments. For sure, I only have 3,000 left this year. I don't know if I can have a prosperous new year. I just feel like I can't find any more money no matter how hard I try. A few years ago, I borrowed over 200,000 yuan, married a woman who ran off a few days later. Now I'm just paying off debts, and I don't even have money for the new year. A food blogger shared his thoughts.
Recently, a sentence went viral online saying, if you can come up with 3,000 yuan for the new year, you're considered rich. When I first saw this, I thought it was a bit exaggerated. 3,000 yuan? Not 30,000 or 300,000, right? But then I read hundreds of comments, and the more I read, the more quiet I became. The more I felt like it hit the pain points of so many ordinary people. Many people said, don't even talk about 3,000 yuan. I can't even come up with 300. If I can make it through the new year without owing money, I'll thank the heavens. Others said, when their salary comes in every month, the first thing is to pay the mortgage, car loan, and credit card. The rest barely covers food and utility bills. Maybe they can buy some small snacks for the kids. There's no extra money, so how can I celebrate the new year?
The comment section is full of laments, with many people saying they don't even have 300 yuan. Some people said that seeing this made them feel better. Many netizens said that the economy in 2025 was particularly bad, and that there's no holiday spirit this year. It feels like nothing they've experienced before. A street vendor asked, "It's already the 20th of the last lunar month, and the streets are as clean as if they've been sprayed with weed killer. Don't you guys come out and buy some New Year goods? It's such a good day. Why aren't you out shopping?" Another person said, "Does anyone feel like this year is really strange? It's like there's no New Year's atmosphere at all. No one has any desire to spend. Do you feel it?" The owner of a clothing store said, "My shop has no people. His shop has no people. That one doesn't either. And that one, no people. Now I'm relieved. Everyone's equally poor." Annette responded, "No people? That's right. The whole country is the same now."
今年过年真的好诡异啊！现在已经是年21了，但是我去市场上看。
This year's New Year feels really strange. It's only a few days left until the New Year, but when I went out to the market, there were hardly any people. It felt so empty. That's supposed to be our town's largest market, the kind where dozens of villagers come. In past years, at this time, it was already crowded, people walking over each other, but now there are hardly any people. It's really strange. Where did everyone go? A netizen commented, "There are only about 600 million people left in the entire country. From top to bottom, no one dares to speak out." Another netizen said, "I've been saying online for 3 years now, Chinese people, if you have money, don't leave it in the bank. You won't be able to get it when you need it. Since last year I've been seeing it. Every year during the new year, you can't get your money. It's really sad. This money was taken by the banks." Let's take a look at the next scene. The new year is almost here, and an elderly person who is seriously ill asks their children to go to the bank to withdraw money, but the bank refuses. In the end, the person had to be carried from the hospital into the bank. A netizen commented that this situation is happening in second and third tier cities, but big cities should be better. So let's go to Shanghai, China's most powerful economy. A netizen uploaded a video saying that today he went to the mall at Huaihai Road. He saw so many physical stores closed, and there were very few customers. He said that recently, many of his friends have mentioned how tough things are. The production, circulation, and service sectors have no profits, and some are even heavily in the red. The physical economy is the livelihood for millions of families. E-commerce and short video traffic can't continue to develop uncontrollably. IAMP Mall is located in Shanghai's prime area, Huaihai Road, near Shanxi Road, and is developed by Shanghai Properties. The mall has 6 floors above ground and 2 below, with over 238 trendy brands, 10% of which are making their debut in China, and 15% are entering Shanghai for the first time. On January 2nd, 2026, Reuters quoted a report saying that Shanghai Properties executive director Feng Xiuyan was suspended last week due to corruption issues related to mall marketing activities, advertising placements, and brand collaborations. Analysts pointed out that Shanghai is one of the largest real estate companies, on par with Li Ka-shing's Chongqing property. Hong Kong's economy is currently in a very bad state, and the political environment is even worse. Recently, the founder of Hong Kong's Apple Daily, Jimmy Lai, was sentenced to 20 years in prison on trumped-up charges, highlighting the collapse of Hong Kong's legal system. The business sector has also been severely impacted, with the domestic economy continuing its downturn. This compounded effect has made Shanghai's industry in Shanghai even worse. On February 9th, a person from Shanghai's fashion industry said in a video,
完蛋喽，全都倒闭了。
It's over. They've all closed down. The once crowded 7PU road with tens of thousands of people coming through every day now has roller doors tightly shut everywhere. There are hardly any people on the overpasses, no more calls from street vendors. Just take a look with my camera.
The large hall is completely empty, and at first glance, it seems like the stores haven't opened yet, but the blogger mentions that it's during normal business hours. Then, looking at the small shops in the alley, which used to be full of goods, the now narrow passageways are completely empty with no one in sight. The vlogger stated, "This place used to be so busy, you couldn't even get a shop here. 70% of Shanghai's clothes used to come from here. This is Shanghai's oldest wholesale market. How could it end up like this?" A netizen commented, "This place was a dump. I went there over 10 years ago. If you asked for prices and you didn't buy, they'd scold you. It was really impressive back then." A Shanghai netizen broke the news.
一搞困過嚟，餐飲行業要出到日子了啊！
I woke up and found out that the restaurant industry had another big problem. Shanghai's landmark restaurant, Xiaonan Guo, you must all know it, right? Suddenly, all their stores shut down. The boss can't be found. The key thing is that many people had already booked New Year's Eve dinners. Now they're out of luck. Those who bought prepaid cards, hoping for discounts, are now never getting their money back.
Xiaonan Guo, a well-known Chinese cuisine brand, is famous in Shanghai. Recently, multiple Xiaonan Guo stores suddenly closed, shocking Shanghai's restaurant industry. On the morning of February 6th, Mr. Zhang went to a Xiaonan Guo branch to work, but was surprised to find that he couldn't clock in, and the internet, water, and electricity were all turned off. It was then that he realized the store had been forced to close. Another store employee, Ms. Wang, encountered a similar situation. She said, "We were still operating normally on February 4th. I even set up tables for booked customers, but now, 2 days later, the store's closed?" Ms. Wang started working at Xiaonan Guo in September 2025, but still hasn't been paid for several months. Employees mentioned that since February of last year, Xiaonan Guo stores had started delaying wages, and by the second half of the year, part-time workers were only being paid half their wages. Employees of other brands under the same group also reported wage delays. Suppliers were among the first to notice the operational issues at Xiaonan Guo. Some employees revealed that in the past 2 months, suppliers selling eggs, fish, and vegetables had come to the stores asking for overdue payments. Public records showed that Xiaonan Guo was founded in 1987 and was once one of the leading brands for Shanghai-style cuisine. At its peak, it had over 80 locations nationwide and annual revenue exceeding 2 billion yuan. However, since 2018, the company has been losing money. Financial reports show that its debt-to-asset ratio has been steadily rising, reaching over 250% by the end of the first half of 2025, far above the safe level of around 70% in the restaurant industry. Several employees revealed that the company's chairman and actual operator, Gu Tongshan, has not been seen in public for months. On February 9th, the company's headquarters office was empty, with only a few people packing up their things and leaving. Let's take a look at the current situation in Shanghai's wealthy residential areas. A 38-year-old returnee from the U.S. who faced a failing business venture is now struggling with the middle class falling back into poverty. He claims to be the poorest person in the Gubei wealthy district.
我住在古北啊，这2天看到黄金城道步行街的这个 cos
I live in Gubei. These past few days, I saw that the Costa coffee shop on Huajing Chendao Walking Street closed down. It's really sentimental. Huajing Chendao, being one of the core streets in Gubei, always had a lot of coffee shops. For an old, well-established coffee shop to suddenly close is really surprising. But when you think about it, it's not too unexpected.
He said the spending power and foot traffic have significantly dropped. Besides the 2 or 3 weeks when ginkgo leaves fall and people come to see them, there's basically no one around anymore. The remaining old residents walk their dogs more than they go to work, and no one really goes out to shop. 20 years ago, this street was the model street for Shanghai's middle class, with a large number of expatriates and embassy staff living here. International schools, high-end Japanese restaurants, and Western restaurants were all located here. Now, the kids from those international schools have been sent abroad, many of the wealthy have emigrated, and most foreign companies have left. The houses are still here, but the remaining residents have all grown old. As for why Costa shut down, it's because this street no longer needs so many coffee shops. Back then, you could just grab a 40 yuan coffee without thinking. Now you have to think twice. If you really want coffee, you can just walk a few steps and get a Luckin coffee, which is half the price. He said, the decline of Huangjing Chengdao is really like Shanghai. It didn't collapse overnight, but it's been sliding down year after year. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what went wrong. It's no longer moving up. It's like many middle-class lives. Though they haven't gone bankrupt, they might already know deep down that the path to upward mobility has ended.
When you look back, you'll realize that the first things to disappear may not be the houses or the people, but those unnecessary facades. Things like slow coffee, emotional value, and that small bourgeois atmosphere. It used to be like a lifestyle, but now, when money is tight, it all gets crossed out, because in today's society, we really can't afford those things. I've been joking in my social media account that I'm the poorest in Gubei. Since I posted this, many of my friends in Gubei have messaged me saying I'm not the poorest. A lot of them are in debt, just holding on here without selling their houses. But honestly, even if they wanted to sell, it's hard to sell right now. A lot of people are really tight on cash, so tight they don't even buy coffee anymore. A young worker from outside Shanghai filmed the video near the Bund in the city center. Walking while talking, he said, "Is this really Shanghai's most prosperous area? This looks like our countryside, doesn't it? Look at these stores, they've all closed. This place isn't being redeveloped, is it? Look at this, it's all run down. This is Zhejiang Middle Road. Rent signs everywhere, it's all for rent. It's probably not redeveloped, just too expensive to rent."
He then turned a corner and entered Nanjing Road, the famous shopping street. But even Nanjing Road wasn't crowded, with just a few people around. A netizen commented, "This is really shocking. You have to remember, there used to be no off-peak hours on Nanjing Road. As long as the stores were open, from morning to night, the shops were always packed, and the pedestrian street looked like a parade. Now it's almost unbelievable that this is Nanjing Road." A netizen summarized, "This year's Chinese New Year might be the quietest one in history, and the reasons are heart-wrenching. First, the holiday travel rush isn't happening. College students have already been on holiday, and migrant workers return to their hometowns in December. There's no work left in the cities, and they even have to spend money to survive. Second, fireworks are almost a relic now. It's not that they're banned, it's that no one can afford them. 1,000 yuan worth of fireworks burns up in no time, and it's just a way of burning money. Third, not many people are genuinely looking forward to the New Year anymore. The sense of celebration has faded. The New Year isn't much more than changing locations and positions to scroll on our phones." Fourth, more and more people are no longer enjoying visiting relatives and friends. Neighbors aren't familiar, and even when relatives meet, they awkwardly chat for a few hours and then part ways. No one entertains with food and drinks. Fifth, high-end tobacco, alcohol, and shopping carts aren't selling anymore. Even Feitian Maotai has dropped in price. Not sure if it's because people aren't giving gifts anymore or if those receiving them are too embarrassed to accept. In the past, the New Year was lively, but now it's calm. Everyone's figured it out. Money's tight, and people are awake. The old tricks don't work anymore. The data reflects the current state of the market. According to data from the China Tobacco and Alcohol Distribution Association, the number of tobacco shops dropped sharply by 19% in 2025, with 320,000 stores disappearing in just 1 year. On average, 900 stores posted transfer notices every day, and over the past 5 years, more than 1.3 million shops have closed. Many in the industry say that 2026 will be even harder than 2025. At a liquor industry summit held on January 29th, Tian Zhuopeng, chairman of Beijing Zhuopeng Strategic Consulting, stated that in 2025, 20% of tobacco shops saw their revenue drop by 80%, 40% saw a decline of 30 to 40%, 10% had steady revenue. Another 10% saw slight increases, but those increases came from other business areas. Overall, tobacco shop revenue was down by as much as 30%. A tobacco shop owner with 10 years of experience shared his story in a tearful video. He said, "In the past, I could rely on group buying from 3 hospitals and 2 real estate companies to bring in 5 million yuan in revenue a year. In 2025, my total group buying revenue didn't even reach 500,000 yuan, and the payments still have to be collected in batches." Now, there's a popular 5 yuan rule in the tobacco industry, meaning that selling a 10-pack of cigarettes earns 5 yuan, and selling a bottle of 1,000 yuan liquor also earns 5 yuan. But with this 5 yuan in profit, it's impossible to even cover the cost of electricity and water. As the Chinese New Year approaches, tobacco shop owners' group chats are no longer filled with stock updates. Store transfers have become more frequent than New Year product advertisements. Many tobacco shop owners are busy preparing for their great escape. A netizen commented, "Do you know the most popular phrase in China right now? It's not Happy New Year or wishing you great success. It's not even wishes for good health, but live with all your might." More and more people are waking up to the fact that as long as they can survive, that's victory. If they can wake up every day and see the sunrise, that's already success. People's biggest wish is to see what happens tomorrow. That's China today.